Countdown to top 10 scariest creatures from mythology, legendary monsters and beings from folklore around the world. The world of mythology is filled with terrifying creatures that have haunted humanity's imagination for centuries. Each culture has its own monstrous legends, beings that lurk in the shadows of folklore, guarding ancient secrets or punishing those who stray from the path. In this countdown, we'll explore the top 10 scariest creatures from mythology, beings that embody the deepest fears and wildest imaginings of people from across the globe. Whether protectors of forbidden realms or bringers of destruction, these legendary monsters continue to captivate and terrify us. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe. Just click the bell icon, so you get all the notifications for our new videos. 10. The Wendigo Algonquian mythology. The Wendigo, a chilling creature from the mythology of the Algonquian-speaking tribes of North America, is a symbol of insatiable hunger and greed. Often described as a gaunt, emaciated figure with glowing eyes, the Wendigo is said to roam the cold forests of the northern US and Canada, always on the hunt for human flesh. What makes this monster especially terrifying is its origin. Humans can transform into Wendigos if they resort to cannibalism or allow their greed to consume them. According to legend, the Wendigo's hunger can never be satisfied. No matter how much it eats, it remains starved, eternally seeking more. The Wendigo's appearance is often a reflection of this bottomless hunger. Cowering, skeletal, with decaying skin, it embodies the terror of isolation, madness, and the primal fear of being consumed by a force far greater than oneself. 9. The Chupacabra. Latin American folklore. Originating from Latin American folklore, the Chupacabra is a more modern mythological creature, but its terrifying nature has earned it a place in this countdown. The name Chupacabra translates to goat sucker, referring to the creature's alleged habit of draining livestock of their blood. Descriptions of the Chupacabra vary, with some claiming it resembles a reptilian, spiny-backed monster, while others say it looks like a hairless, wolf-like beast with glowing red eyes. What makes the Chupacabra so terrifying is its association with rural isolation and the mysterious deaths of livestock. Farmers would wake up to find their animals dead, drained of blood with puncture wounds on their necks, leading to widespread panic. The idea of an unseen predator stalking the night, capable of such calculated and violent acts, taps into deep-seated fears of the unknown and the uncontrollable forces of nature. 8. The Kraken. Norse mythology. In the icy waters of Scandinavia, sailors told stories of a colossal sea monster known as the Kraken. This legendary beast, believed to be an enormous octopus or squid, was said to be large enough to drag entire ships beneath the waves. The Kraken would rise from the depths, wrapping its powerful tentacles around vessels, pulling them and their terrified crews into the cold abyss of the ocean. What makes the Kraken particularly terrifying is its embodiment of the unpredictability and danger of the sea. For ancient seafarers, the ocean was a vast, uncharted territory filled with unknown creatures. The Kraken represented their worst fears, the potential for a creature of unimaginable size and strength to rise from the dark depths without warning. In modern times, the Kraken has inspired tales of giant sea monsters in everything from literature to film, continuing to remind us of the perils that might lurk beneath the surface of the world's oceans. 7. The Banshee. Irish mythology. In Irish mythology, the Banshee is a ghostly figure whose wailing cry is believed to foretell death. According to legend, she appears as an old woman with long, flowing hair, wearing a white or gray gown. Her appearance is often linked to moments of extreme sorrow or tragedy, and her mournful scream is said to be an omen that someone in the household will soon die. The fear surrounding the Banshee is not just her eerie appearance, but the helplessness her presence invokes. There's no way to prevent the impending death she announces, and those who hear her cry are left with a growing sense of dread. The Banshee embodies the universal fear of death, the sorrow of loss, and the feeling of powerlessness in the face of fate. 6. The Nuckelavee. Scottish folklore. From the Orkney Islands in Scotland comes the Nuckelavee, one of the most horrifying creatures in Scottish folklore. This fearsome being is a grotesque fusion of man and horse. The Nuckelavee is said to have the body of a horse with the torso of a man attached to its back, but its most terrifying feature is its skin, or rather, the lack thereof. Descriptions of the Nuckelavee depict it as skinless, with raw muscle and sinew exposed, and black blood coursing through its veins. The Nuckelavee was believed to spread disease and blight wherever it roamed, destroying crops and causing misery for the people of Orkney. It could not tolerate fresh water, so those fleeing from it would attempt to cross rivers to escape its wrath. The Nuckelavee's hideous appearance and malevolent nature represent the fears of plague, starvation, and the uncontrollable forces of nature that could devastate communities. 5. The Kai. Japanese mythology. Hikai are a class of supernatural beings and monsters from Japanese folklore, and they come in a wide variety of forms, from mischievous spirits to terrifying demons. One of the most feared Kai is the Oni, a hulking, horned ogre that often wields a massive club. Oni are depicted as powerful, malevolent creatures who feast on human flesh and bring destruction wherever they go. The scariest thing about Kai is their unpredictability. While some may simply play tricks on humans, others are downright malevolent. For example, the Jorikumo, a spider woman, lures men to her lair only to devour them. The idea that the world is inhabited by spirits capable of shape-shifting and interacting with humans, often with deadly consequences, instills a sense of unease and uncertainty. 4. The Djinn. Islamic and Arabian folklore. The Djinn, also known as Djinn, are supernatural beings from Islamic and Arabian folklore. While many people are familiar with the concept of a genie in a bottle from popular culture, the true nature of the Djinn is far more sinister. Djinn are believed to be made of smokeless fire and have the ability to shape-shift and possess humans. They exist in an unseen world parallel to our own, and while some Djinn are benevolent, others are malevolent tricksters who delight in causing harm. In Islamic tradition, Djinn can possess humans, driving them to madness or influencing their actions in harmful ways. The fear of being overtaken by an invisible force that can manipulate your mind and body taps into deep psychological fears. Unlike many other mythological creatures, Djinn are believed to still exist today, lurking in the unseen corners of our world. 3. The Baba Yaga. Slavic folklore. Baba Yaga, one of the most iconic figures in Slavic folklore, is a fearsome witch who lives in a hut that stands on chicken legs. She is often depicted as a crone with iron teeth and a bony frame, and she flies through the air in a mortar, using a pestle to guide her. Baba Yaga is a complex character. Sometimes she helps those who seek her out, but more often, she's depicted as a cannibalistic villain who captures and eats those foolish enough to wander into her forest. Baba Yaga represents the fear of the wilderness and the unknown. Her forest is a liminal space, a place where the rules of society no longer apply and danger lurks behind every tree. The unpredictability of Baba Yaga, her ability to be both helpful and harmful, makes her one of the most terrifying figures in Slavic folklore. 2. The Lernaean Hydra. Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, the Lernaean Hydra is a multi-headed serpent that dwells in the swamps of Lerna. For every head that is cut off, two more grow back in its place, making the Hydra nearly impossible to defeat. The creature was eventually slain by the hero Hercules as one of his 12 labors, but not without great difficulty. The Hydra symbolizes the fear of an undefeatable enemy, one that grows stronger the more you try to fight it. Its regenerative abilities and poisonous breath make it a terrifying adversary in mythology, and its image has persisted in modern depictions of monstrous creatures that defy destruction. 1. The Gorgon. Greek mythology. Topping our list is the Gorgon, with the most famous example being Medusa. In Greek mythology, Medusa was once a beautiful woman who was transformed into a monster by the goddess Athena. Her hair was turned into living snakes, and anyone who gazed directly into her eyes would be turned to stone. Medusa and her sisters, Stheno and Euryale, were feared across the ancient world. The Gorgon's ability to turn people to stone with a single glance makes her a uniquely terrifying figure. Unlike many monsters that can be fought or outrun, Medusa requires no direct confrontation. Her mere presence is enough to bring about death. The fear of being paralyzed, both literally and figuratively, by something beyond your control is a primal fear that the Gorgon embodies perfectly. The creatures we've explored in this countdown embody humanity's deepest fears, whether it's the terror of the unknown, the dangers of nature, or the fear of losing control. These legendary monsters and beings from folklore around the world have been used to explain the mysteries of the natural world, to caution against greed, pride, and other vices, and to warn of the consequences of straying too far from safety. Even in modern times, these stories continue to captivate us, showing that our fascination with the dark and the terrifying is universal and timeless. Whether it's the Wendigo's insatiable hunger, the Kraken's overwhelming strength, or the Gorgon's paralyzing gaze, each creature reflects the insecurities and fears that have haunted people for centuries. These myths serve not only as cautionary tales but also as mirrors reflecting the very human anxieties about the uncontrollable forces in our lives. As long as we continue to tell these stories, these creatures will live on, reminding us of the delicate balance between fear and survival, chaos and order, and the line between the known and the unknown.
If you love diving into today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. Stay in the loop with our weekly uploads full of fascinating facts and mind-blowing trivia. Like, share, and spread the knowledge with your friends. Let's explore the world together.